Flew the next day to Pittsburgh, where we are right now, where I roasted the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I went hard in the paint, man. I mean, I didn't think Russell Wilson, my boy from Seattle, who was going to be there, the whole team was there, all the coaches. Russ is right up front. I go, Russ, dude. Man, fucking Russ, I'm a Seattle boy. It's big time that you're here. Russ, man, I'm glad you're here in Pitt. You got a fresh start. They did you dirty in Denver, man. They fucked you, dude. I haven't seen someone get fucked that hard unless Diddy's there to film it.
Hey, it's Herbert. And you're listening to the About Last Night podcast, you slippery little son of a bitch.
About last night.
Hey guys, Adam Ray, welcome back to the About Last Night podcast. We are coming to you live from the Pittsburgh Improv Green Room. Hey, oh my God, how'd you get access? That's where Brad Williams had sex with a stripper, I think. That's a rumor I've heard. We are in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I got 5 sold-out shows at the Improv. Thanks for coming out. It's a big room, 360 it holds. Came here in 2019, did not sell out any shows. So God bless you guys for coming out, unpacking these ones. We are on Friday night here of the weekend. We got 2 tonight, 2 tomorrow. And I'm throwing out the first pitch of the Pirates-Mariners game on Sunday, which I'm fired up about. Hopefully that is what gets my Mariners back in the winning mindset. Seeing me, yeah, they're going to get inspired from me throwing a fucking Bud Light infused ball into the dirt. No, it's my first pitch. I'm fired up. The Pittsburgh Park, PNC Park, is supposed to be pretty gorgeous, so excited for that. But excited to talk to you guys because there's a lot that's been going on, and so I wanted to make sure I captured an episode before I go to Europe on Monday. Doing 2 shows in London at the Leicester Square Theatre. Both of those are sold out. Thank you so much. Cheerio. Thanks, Mike, for coming out to the shows. That's Australian. London. What's in London? Cheers. A question for you, mate. A bloke. Are there any bloody tickets left for the show? I think is that British? Fuck, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Hopefully I'm one of those shithead Americans that comes back from England and I'm talking like Johnny Depp or Madonna. We are going to Paris after London. My wife and I were going to Italy to eat some pasta and hang out with the cast of Ratatouille. She's never been to Europe. Fired up. I'm fired up to see her see Europe for the first time, right? The same way that a kid gets to see Boobs for the first time, or Meatloaf, the singer, and the food. I can't wait to see her just be like, whoa, like people drive on the other side of the street. You know, French women do have hairy pits, and French men, are a little aggressive and smoke, but don't get lung cancer. And Italy, the pasta, you can eat anything and still have a 6-pack, and you don't have to get, vaginal reconstructive surgery. So I'm fired up for that. Europe is, one of those places that feels like another world from here, especially with everything that's going on in the States right now. I think getting away and getting an escape and going somewhere where we're not dealing with the day-to-day of what we're dealing with here. Does that make sense? You need a distraction, which is why comedy is a great distraction. And that takes me into, holy shit, last weekend, Madison Square Garden, Kill Tony. If you were there, God bless you. If you weren't there, fucking why didn't you come? No, they will put the shows up on YouTube at some point. But wow, man, maybe the craziest weekend in comedy I've ever had. The surprises, the bucket pulls, the legend bucket pulls, the 20,000 people a night. Kill Tony, I've been doing that show since its inception 10 years ago in the belly room of the Comedy Store. And to see how it's evolved and the amount of people that come out is truly wild, and a testament to Tony and Brian Redband for sticking with it, believing in something, being consistent. That is such a key component of this business. To succeed in any part of it is not stopping, not quitting, not giving up, however you want to equate it. And so to be around for that initial run and then to see where it's gotten is not a total shock, because you see how fun the show is if you've been to it or watching on YouTube or seen it now in these arenas. But you also understand that like comedy is going through a little bit of a shift. pre-Brady roast, but I think now, especially with Kill Tony's fandom and growth becoming a phenomenon, everyone's like, if you're a comedy fan, you know of Kill Tony, and you're not expecting that type of raw, refreshing, edgy stuff, but it's nice to have that be at the forefront and have most people who are into comedy not turned off by it. Excuse me, just threw up in my mouth. But if you're not throwing up in your mouth, you're not truly living. We'll be right back. I did Dr. Phil on night one of the Madison Square Garden Kill Tony shows. I came out, I did a stand-up set, I roasted and toasted everybody that was on the show. Hans, David Lucas, Casey, William Montgomery, Tony, and Red Band. Brought Red Band out, some penis cakes that my bud Norm got for us at some, I should remember the name of the store. They hit me up on Instagram and said, we supplied the penis cakes for you. And I was like, stop messaging me. No, I didn't want to forget the name of them, but hit me up again. I'll give you a shout out on the next pod. But they make penis like corn dogs almost. And so I got like 12 of them, brought them to Red Band, and gave them to him for his 50th birthday. And then after that, which, by the way, my stand-up set, I've never felt more comfortable, I think, on stage. And that's wild. I walked out, again, Tony was like, got to get your makeup gal, Jen Aspinall, out again. She brought her assistant, Heather, to do me up because they also were of high usage to us on night two, which I'll get to in a second. By the way, the show's getting ready to start, so if you hear some music and laughter, that's my opener. Seneca, check him out. And Ramin Mostafafi. They're both, we'll put up both their Instagram handles right here. Check them out. But I was so comfy on stage. And to be in an arena, 20,000 people, it was just kind of, not baffling, but definitely took me by surprise how not nervous I was. Do you know what I'm saying? And I've done a handful of arenas with Burt Kreischer and the Practical Jokers. Four now with Kill Tony. But I really just felt locked in. I also felt prepared. You still don't know how the jokes are going to go. You're doing them for the first time. But I felt real, just stable and stationary. Sometimes when you're nervous, you move without a purpose. And I just was fucking stoic and ready to go. And so that was kind of cool. I had Joe Rogan, Andrew Schultz, and Shane Gillis on the dais for the panel. And they were a lot of fun. Joe had never seen me do Dr. Phil. So that was fucking cool. Because obviously I went on his podcast last week, and that was cool for him to get to see that live and see me do my thing. We've been on shows at the Comedy Store a bunch, Mothership a few times, but he's never, you just assume everyone's seen everybody. But guys like that don't go out of their way to look your shit up. They see you or they don't see you. And it was really cool to have that opportunity for him to see me do it live. And the pop that Phil got when I came out was wild. And Joe had this big, peacock, big bird jacket on, and he's wild shades. He just wanted to be fucking silly, he said, which he nailed that. And then Shane and Schultz, it was a great panel to be able to perform for, too. That's what I guess I'm getting at by how surprised I was at how comfy I was. That's a fucking juggernaut of comedians to your left that you don't want to, bomb in front of. Every comic, I don't care who you are, where you're at, whether you're 2 years in or 12 years in, when you have pros in the room, you want to fucking crush, man. So seeing them over there was a little nerve-wracking, but I settled in and felt really good about what I was about to do. And then, which I just posted on my Instagram, Tony goes, Dr. Phil, we're not letting you go just yet. We got something special for you. Look up at that screen, Phil. Look up at that screen. And it was a 6-minute highlight reel of all my Kill Tony performances. From the first time in the Belly Room in 2014 or 2017 to my last Joe Biden appearance with Shane at the Mothership when Shane and I did Biden-Trump, which now I think has 16 million views. I mean, wow. I don't think Two Rows, One Cup has 16 million views. That's not true. I think it's got 49 billion views, and that's terrible. Yeah, it was awesome. I thought I was dying. I thought they were playing a fucking highlight reel to be like, and then Real Phil was going to come out and stab me in the neck and go, "We won't be right back," and just end my run as this character. But it was really cool, man. I didn't know what was going to happen. I don't know if they're going to cut the footage of my mom, or because my mom and stepdad George had come out to be in New York that week. We saw Broadway shows. I did a few podcasts. I did We Might Be Drunk with Mark Norman and Sam Morril. I did Are You Garbage podcast, both of these as Dr. Phil, which should be out soon, which were unbelievable. Two of the most fun podcasts I've ever done, Are You Garbage and We Might Be Drunk. And doing them as Phil was a real treat. Those guys are so fun to play with. Those will be out soon. There's a podcast with me as Phil with Steve-O that's out right now. You can check that out. As well as a new Dr. Phil Live with Joel McHale and Sean Kemp. That's out right now as well. The new Dr. Phil Live, by the way, with Kyle Kinane and Harlan Williams from Portland drops on August 27th. So mark your calendars. But having a week in New York with my folks and wife was awesome. We saw The Wiz. We saw Back to the Future, the musical. Unbelievable. Made me have a restored confidence in movie musicals. Not to say you should do Schindler's List, the musical, or fucking, Air Bud, the musical. That I actually would watch. A guy dressed in a dog. You can't get a real dog to sing, obviously. Well, not with that attitude, but you can get somebody dressed as a dog to play badminton and fucking hopscotch. I haven't seen the movies in a while. But I did have to go see The Wiz. After I did We Might Be Drunk, I didn't have time to get out of my makeup before going to see The Wiz. So I showed up in full makeup at The Wiz. I wish I had footage of that. Nikki Paris, who opens for me a lot, hilarious comic, didn't know I was coming as Phil, so he looks over and literally just goes, and then just starts dying laughing. People were looking at me a lot too. Wiz Khalifa was there. We locked eyes. I don't know if he thought because I was Phil, or I don't think he knows of my show, but he definitely looked at me like, what the fuck? Maybe he knew I was in makeup and was like, okay, we are truly in the epicenter of actors, being actors. They're getting ready to start the show. So having Rogan there, they play the highlight reel from my appearances from the Belly Room 2017 all through now. Shots of Elaine, the Phil appearances, when I gave out a hotel and I brought somebody on the road with me, Jamisha. It was awesome. And I got choked up, I'll be honest. I got very choked up. Not at just like, wow, look at all the stuff I've done. I got choked up at like, it is such a grind. This business is such a grind. And I try to not have it be lost on me of how much work I've put into all this, right? No one's guaranteed anything. I don't expect anything. And I got that mindset early on where I was like, you got to control what you can control. I say this all the time to young comics. I think I say it on the podcast. You got to control what you can control because nothing is guaranteed and there's so much uncertainty. Fuck yeah, look at that. That was because they announced the chicken tender machine's still working. Not because of me. So having that highlight reel was cool to watch because I go, wow, man, I've been a part of this show for this long. And that really got to me. And then seeing everything I brought to it and how cool it is that Tony and Red Band have been so welcoming of me in this space. It's truly the best playground for comedy. Getting to be myself, have a true avenue for me to be myself. Characters, stand-up, roast and toast people, also try to be a nice person. Having a one-stop shop for that really tugged at my heartstrings. And then I got emotional for Tony and Red Band because it's fucking beautiful that they got a show to be as popular as it is. Again, there's no guarantee in any of this. So that was really special. I got choked up, and then I was like, I can't cry. I can't cry dressed as Dr. Phil. Also, I got choked up. I couldn't fight the tears. But I was like, I can't cry like this. I can't cry in front of Joe Rogan before I do his podcast. And I can't cry in front of Joe Rogan while he's dressed in fucking Big Bird's mom's jacket. So, a lot of things kept me, level-headed. But I was moved, man. I will not lie. I was very moved. My wife was sobbing. I had a lot of people tell me they were choked up. Ari Shaffir and Joe DeRosa, I got off stage, were telling me they welled up. The Are You Garbage guys, Kevin and H. Foley, were very emotional. Like, dude, that was fucking beautiful. It was cool, man. Again, you control what you can control. Don't be a piece of shit. Be as kind as you can to everybody. It does go a long way. We all get frustrated and jaded or whatever. It's just all parts of the ups and downs of this business. But man, if you can kill things with kindness, not take things personally, not only is it a healthier way to live, but people then are been so quick to celebrate something like that, like me getting into the Kill Tony Hall of Fame, which is what that video led to, which was wild and very unexpected and very cool. And Tony said, I think I'm the first non-regular and whatever it is. It was just it was a big deal, and they made a big deal about it in the video, and everybody getting to see. And again, Joe had never even really seen me on stage, so now he gets to see this walk down memory lane of all the stuff I've done on the show, and that's cool. And it's cool that people, at the end of the day, I love what I do so much, and it's cool that people dig it, and that you're all you want to do as a comedian, actor, whatever in this world is make people laugh, and not just for your own selfish reasons. I told Joe this on the Joe Rogan Experience that my mind has shifted definitely as far as when you start out doing stand-up and you're in the business, it's all for you. You're trying to move your career along, get more accolades, get more notoriety. But man, the amount of messages I now get for people watching, About Last Night podcast, my Dr. Phil stuff, crowd work clips, my special, like and subscribe on YouTube, which you can check out. There's a fucking graphic right there. Kill Tony stuff. People send me messages of like, man, it's the only thing getting me through this rough time. My dad just passed, or my fish just got AIDS, or my folks split, and like, this is how I get through the day. I lost my job. And comedy really is medicine, man. It really just has this wild impact, and I'm now becoming way more cognizant of that, and it's making what I do feel even more special, impactful, and worthwhile. Because I love doing it. It's not. Look, I've always been driven to do it and bring and aware that it brings joy to people. But I'm not gonna lie, there's getting all these messages on a daily basis and seeing the love that people show you and the joy that they're getting from what you're doing. Yeah, man, that definitely makes me want to ramp things up a bit and just provide even more content, shows, specials. I feel like I'm just getting going. But that was night one. Wild. The surprises that came out. I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen online and from the live streams. I mean, Harlan Williams, Joey Diaz, fucking Pauly Shore, Jeff Ross, Louis J. Gomez, Big J. Okerson. I mean, it was Andrew Dice Clay, and I got to talk for the first time in a while, and he wanted to do all these videos with me backstage. Phil, they come act like I'm fucking trying to talk to you, and you don't want anything to do with me. And he comes up and I go, hey, let me live my life, Andrew. Can you fuck off? I'm with my friends. Hey, fucking with this fucking guy. Just seeing him in Madison Square Garden. I mean, I got a picture. We'll post it right here with me, Shane Gillis, Harlan Williams, and Andrew Dice Clay. Marry, fuck, kill, kill. Wow. I mean, we were all in the room together. Shane Gillis will tell you this too, because we had a great moment where I go, Dice, dude, look at this little foursome. I got to get a shot of this. He goes, yeah, let me get a second. I got to go in the room and get my head together. And I go, all good, man. And then Shane looks at me and goes, wow. And he goes, embarrassing. Dressed like that, shot down, wow. And we just start laughing. And then Dice came out and we got the picture. It was awesome. He goes, you know what? Let's do it now before we forget. Getting to know Shane Gillis, a real treat, man. One of the funniest guys I've ever seen live. One of the nicest guys. And that's one of the cool things about this business. You get into a position to do certain things like these Kill Tony shows. Doing Phil and Elaine on Kill Tony opened the door for Tony being like, we're doing Biden and Trump. I bought a new vest. Come on down. It's going down Austin, Texas. Getting to do that with Shane, we talked maybe 5 or 6 times at clubs prior to that. And it'd been fun. He was on the New Year's show when I did Phil in Austin, and so we got to see each other there, but not hanging as much as we have in the last week. And really cool to get to know somebody through an experience like that. And so we're doing Biden and Trump night 2. And again, we're in the makeup room, chatting, just getting to know each other more too, bullshitting. I always try to feel people out too. I'm never going full-on conversation. You pepper it in here and there, see what everyone's comfy with. Everyone's got a different threshold for how much they want to chat pre-show, right? But so we're really just riffing it up and having a good time. And then we get into makeup, and I think we were originally supposed to be something like a special treat at the very end. And Tony switched it up last minute and was like, you guys got to be on the panel with David Tell, which was awesome because when you get into makeup like that, 2-3 hours, you want to be in the show as long as possible. Also, Shane and I had such a blast the first time at the mothership that we wanted to have as much time to play around again. And so, man, do we have a blast. I mean, almost arguably funnier than the first time around. we were trying to make each other laugh a lot more, pinching each other, being like, what the fuck, if something was super funny or if somebody had a good line, or I was like, dude, you got to find a way to insert all the Jurassic Park stuff again that you did from the first time we did this. And he did it, and then and was kind of nudging me like, fucking, there you go. And it was just awesome. And then getting to chat with him at the after party was awesome. I keep using that word, but it was just very cool to get to know someone that you respect and is such a goat in the comedy world. I mean, it doesn't get any cooler and funnier than Shane Gillis, and I don't have to tell you that. If you know what's up, you know that. And just again, getting respect from your peers is a big part of what you want when you get to a certain point in your career. Yeah, you win awards, you get your own show, you're doing specials. That's all great, but you ask any comedian, I guarantee you everybody wants to be respected, man. And once I started doing the Dr. Phil show, that was another thing that really was a really sweet factor in the fun of all of it, is that people wanting to come on the show that I may not know super well, but really think it's funny, and so they want to come play around, and so now they want to come do something that I've created, right? And it's like, wow, I've been watching you for years, and I think you're here, and now you're looking at me as an equal, and that's awesome. There's no other way to describe that, and there's no path for that. You just, again, gotta fucking grind it out, man, and control what you can control. And doing all these characters is something I've always wanted to do. I've had managers and agents be like, "You're not a character guy, not your thing." Either whether it's you're a leading man or your weight fluctuates, you're the fat best friend who fucking dies in a hot tub, whatever it is. I just finally was like, I gotta do what makes me what I want to do. Whether it leads to anything or not, that truly is the point I got to, where it was like, I just have to do what is fun and makes me happy and is challenging. And I think people will respond. And if they don't, hey man, back to the drawing board. It's just throwing darts, man. That's all this business is just keep on trying shit, man. I mean, my buddy Albert, who's filming the shows for me on the road and this podcast right now, is the one who sent me a thing and was like, you got to do characters all talking to each other, you know what I'm saying? And with you. And then it was like, well, that's a big idea. And like, that's a lot of work and seems crazy. And we have to do that at some point. But then it was like, oh, let's start small with Phil doing you. And then he shot and edited that, The Unfiltered, which you guys have seen. Fucking check it out right there. And that's like one of the most fun things I've ever done. Do you know what I'm saying? And original and cool that even it got to a point to where people were geeked out to see that. And now we're trying to maybe, do more of those and make that a little running series. But Shane and I had a fucking blast. Night 2 at the Garden. A ton more surprises. Aaron Rodgers comes out at the end and throws fucking footballs into the crowd. I'll tell you this much. I leaned over to Aaron, by the way, as Biden, and go, hey, just so you know, the vaccine does work. And he laughed. And super nice guy, man. And him tossing footballs to Shane and I before he threw them into the crowd at Madison Square Garden. Oh, man, it was cool. Having one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time toss you a ball. I mean, it was like Pam Anderson tossed me a tampon at the height of the Baywatch. That's a bad example. It was like I don't know, a porn star tosses you a bra. It was a great moment. That's what I'll say that. Shane, Adam, Biden, Trump, we catch, and then I'm just fucking, as Biden, just trying to fucking rip it. And at one point I pointed to my wife. She was sitting with my buddy Dale Tan and Nikki Paris, and I was like that. And they had been trying to catch balls and thought they were done having their opportunity. So apparently I pointed to my wife and chucked it, and Nikki, thank God, deflected it. Otherwise it would have taken her out, which would have sucked. But that was an insane way to close the show. Jelly Roll sang the national anthem. The energy of Madison Square Garden is something you can't, you just have to see it live, man. I know for Knicks games, everyone talks about how wild it is. Billy Joel concerts, through the roof. But comedy in there is, wow, dude. I'll never experience anything like those 2 days ever again. And I'm super grateful to all the love you guys have shown. Again, check out the highlight reel on my Instagram that I posted. It's on TikTok too, that Christy, one of the producers of Kill Tony, edited. God bless her. An amazing job. It's closed out with the Titty Fuck song as like the kind of the instrumental that backs up the closing of the montage, which is just hilarious. By the way, we're making Elaine shirts and they will be out very soon. Elaine shirts with "Call Me for a Titty Fuck" and some other catchphrases, because people keep asking for them. I had a couple in Tacoma, Washington come up to me, and the woman goes, "My husband was titty fucking me last night," and I started singing "Call Me for a Titty Fuck." I go, yeah, anyway, I didn't want to know that, but thank you. I don't know how to take that. Seneca just crushed. Ramin's on stage crushing now. Yeah, man, wild. Madison Square Garden, Friday, Saturday. Then I had my own show at the Gramercy. We thought, let's do a night in New York of me just doing stand-up and package it with the Kill Tony run and just double dip. Sold it out. I packed the lineup because why not? My boy Sal Volcano from Jokers came through. His special Terrified is out. Check that out. Joe Gatto from Impractical Jokers came through with Rob Riggle. Joe came out, did 5 minutes, brought up Sal. That's before Nikki Paris opened and crushed. He brought up Mark Normand. Mark brought up Joe. Joe brought up Sal. And Sal brought up Dave Attell, who I've gotten to know in the last couple of years, who's the fucking one of the greatest comics of all time. He was on the panel with Shane and I for night 2 at the Garden. And he did 15 and brought me up. And that was insane. So the money, the show you got for your money on Sunday at the Gramercy in New York City was awesome. And people were so pumped, man. It just made the show better. Usually I don't like to go up after more than like 30, 40 minutes a show, 30 max, because I don't want the crowd to be fucking tired and you know, I want to still be able to do my full hour. But I was like, I don't fucking care, man. And I had a great time, man. It was a lot of fun. My first sold-out theater in New York City, a blast. And I've been posting some clips from that. We got more coming. Shout out to everybody that came to that show and supported. And of course, hopefully I'll see you back in New York for the Beacon Theater on November 15th for Dr. Phil Live, baby. Dr. Phil Live at the Beacon, November 15th for the New York Comedy Festival. By the way, October 25th at the Miller Theater, Dr. Phil Live is almost sold out. October 26th at the Capital One Hall in D.C. is almost sold out. December 6th at Celebrity Theater, 2600 in the Round in Arizona, almost sold out. December 7th at the San Diego Civic Theater, which I think is 2800. December 8th still has maybe 400 or 500 tickets left. We're announcing more cities for 2025 very soon. I can tell you the cities, just so you can start getting the lube ready, or just spit. Whatever. I don't. Hey man, whatever you. And maybe you're not even gonna do it to it. Maybe you're just gonna get excited and buy a ticket. Either way, do you. No judgment, player. Boston, Dallas, Austin, Nashville, San Francisco, Atlanta. I think that's it for 2025. There's another city in there I'm forgetting. But that's a lot, and that's going to be fun. Can't wait, man. Those dates will be announced soon. 2025 Dr. Phil Live Tour. But again, all the tickets for Philly, D.C., New York, Arizona, and San Diego for Dr. Phil Live at adamraycomedy.com. Other tour dates coming up after Europe. September 7th, St. Louis, Missouri, City Winery, 2 sold-out shows September 7th. Might release a few extra tickets. Stay tuned. September 12th, the Buckhead Theater in Atlanta. Still got tickets left. September 12th, Buckhead Theater, Atlanta, Georgia. Tickets at adamraycomedy.com. September 13th to 14th, Columbus, Funny Bone in Columbus, Ohio. And then September 18th, Dr. Phil Live at the Comedy Store. Gabriel Iglesias, Jay Farrell, Patton Oswalt, and some surprise guests that are going to blow your mind. And then we got Naples, Florida, October 4th through the 6th. Zany's Nashville, October 10th through the 12th. Hilarities in Cleveland, October 17th through the 19th, I believe. And then, of course, the Phil shows and San Jose Improv, December 4th. All those tickets at adamraycomedy.com with all the Dr. Phil Live merch. Elaine merch is coming. All that shit, adamraycomedy.com. Joe Rogan. I did the Joe Rogan podcast. Can I be honest? Didn't think it was ever going to happen. You get to a point where you go, I'm not in the world. I'm not in his eye line. I've got to know him. It's all gravy. Then he asked me. And you go, fucking cool. And he asked me, so a little bit of the pressure was off because I was like, oh, he wants to chat with me, I think, you know? And the timing couldn't have been better because, you know, it came shortly after the first Biden-Trump that aired with Shane and I. And I'm assuming he saw that. And maybe that was something that he saw, that everything should happen the way it happens, you know? You get so riled up, especially when you see all your comrades and homies getting on Rogan and doing certain things. You think if you're not doing it too, that you're not doing it, or that you're equating success based on off of nothing. You're like, if you don't do Rogan, you're not a real comic. It's fucked that you can create that sort of an approach. And I did. And I finally got to a healthy place where I was like, dude, I'm running the Kill Tony boat, and that's my jam. And if Rogan happens, it's supposed to happen. It'll happen on his time. And it was a blast, man. Again, him being at the Garden for 2 nights and getting to see me do my thing, I think was a great in for the conversation. We talked about it up top for about 10 minutes of the 3.5 hours, which is the longest time I've ever done a podcast. And that's so long, dude. I mean, there was a point where I was like, I don't even know fucking what I'm talking about. I think at one point I was like, you ever scuba dive, Joe? And I was like, would you fucking mermaid? Dude, I was just, peanut butter or jelly. What do you start with when you're making a sandwich? But he was silly, man. And he was down to clown. I made him laugh a handful of times. Got to plug my Doug documentary, which again is right here. Can't tell you how cool it is that people have been hitting me up post-Rogan appearance, telling me they saw the Doug documentary on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/AdamRayComedy. Check that out. And it was just awesome, man. What is that, a pube? It was awesome to be in that studio. You see it so, I've been seeing that studio for years, and to be in it was fucking awesome, man. And yeah, it was just cool getting to be around. Jamie, look that up, all the stuff that you see. And then I felt really comfy, man. We took a few puffs of weed before the show started. I'm glad we didn't smoke a cigar. I don't really smoke cigars, and I was worried I was going to look like a fucking idiot. Drinking I could have done, but it was daytime, so. And then I missed my flight because we went long, and then we chatted after, and I wasn't about to rush that experience. So missed my flight, flew the next day to Pittsburgh, where we are right now, where I roasted the Pittsburgh Steelers, the rookies, for their talent show. Hard Knocks is a show that follows a football season every year on HBO. And the Steelers had their rookie show that they always feature on Hard Knocks. And so they wanted me to host it. They had a few other comedians, a magician. I hosted it and then roasted all the rookies. And shout out to my boy Pat Barker, who helped me write some jokes for that. And I went hard in the paint, man. I mean, I didn't think Russell Wilson, my boy from Seattle, who was going to be there. The whole team was there, all the coaches. Russ is right up front. I go, Russ, dude. Man, fucking Russ. I'm a Seattle boy. It's big time that you're here. Russ, man, I'm glad you're here in Pitt. You got a fresh start. They did you dirty in Denver, man. They fucked you, dude. I haven't seen someone get fucked that hard unless Diddy's there to film it. Everybody goes nuts. I give Russ a dab. I go, go Hawks. He was laughing. Some jokes didn't hit. Athletes, again, it's, I just had to come with energy and go hard because they didn't know who I was. There was a handful of players that were fans of the Phil shit or Kill Tony, and that was cool. But a really cool experience. Something you just got to say yes to. No pay. You do it to help, promote the shows. Also for the fun and the experience. You get to a point where things like that are at your disposal. You got to do it, Throwing out the first pitch on Sunday will be cool. And it was cool, man. Shout out to Daryl Young, who put that together for me, and Katie Jennings here in Pittsburgh, who have just been big champions of me and setting those things up. But I posted it on my Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And then the Steelers were like, hey, man, where's supposed to be footage of that? Even though it's just me, it's not, I didn't take footage of their rookie shit, but I took it down. But I think I actually saw that some football account must have screen grabbed it or something because it's still up there. So, which by the way, I did the morning news this morning in Pittsburgh, PLT, which is the same place where Sam Morrell had a clip go viral a few months ago where they said, how'd you get in the comedy, Sam? He goes, oh, I was molested by my uncle and he gave me his superpowers. They couldn't have comedians on the morning show because of that. But Sam sold out his weekend from that and the clip went viral. So I went on this morning and was kind of throwing flames as well. I was like, dude, I looked over, I guess maybe I can't read. Maybe I gotta stop smoking weed. I saw on the weather board Tuesday, morning showers. I literally thought Wednesday said golden showers. And I heard the woman just go, okay. And I was like, I thought this was a safe space. And then I was like, making fun of the other host. And anyway, we found out the whole staff in the producer room and the people on headsets and the camera guys were laughing. That's how you always know you're doing well. If you're on a set for a comedy movie, if the crew's laughing, any comedian will tell you this. You know you're on the right track. Paul Feig, when I did Jackpot, which by the way, there's a John Cena Aquafina movie called Jackpot out right now. Came out August 15th on Amazon Prime Video. Paul Feig, who directed Bridesmaids, The Heat, Spy, Simple Favor, School for Good and Evil. He threw me in this one too. It's a great movie. Having the staff, the crew laugh during my shit, and Paul makes you go, all right, cool, I'm dialed in. But the head of this news show was like, we're not airing the segment and we're not giving you the video. So, oops, might need to send him a fruit basket or a dental dam. All right. I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. I wanted to put out something post MSG, post Rogan, post New York, post Kill Tony Hall of Fame. Got a lot of shows coming up, man. A lot of fun. Doing a new Kill Tony character in the fall. I can't wait for that. Tony and I are going to do a sit down and break down the entire Garden experience when I go to Austin this September. So be on the lookout for that. And of course, subscribe to the About Last Night podcast right here. Every Tuesday, new episodes. New Dr. Phil Live drops August 27th. Elaine merch is on the way out soon. All the tour dates, AdamRayComedy.com. Dr. Phil Live shows are out there. Philly, DC, New York, Arizona, Phoenix, and more coming in 2025. I'm going to go out and perform for this sold-out crowd in Pittsburgh, baby. Then maybe smoke some weed after and eat a sandwich. We'll see. Got to get my cortisol levels in check. But that's it, guys. Enjoy the rest of your week. And I'm in Europe now, so I guess follow me on the gram. I'll probably be posting some stories from all over. Going to Disneyland Paris, so if I see Goofy, you know, putting a baguette in Minnie's. Okay. Good night, everybody. Have a great week.